What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. My name is Conrad, and how are you, buddy? We're back in White Lightning Studios, 2014 Ford Focus. So if you've never been in one, consider this my open invitation for you to join me here in the luxury accommodations that the Ford Motor Company has provided me with. Right now, we're at about 144,000 miles on this bitch, so just getting her broke in. I'm headed back to Oklahoma. I was up in Kansas, like I am every weekend, taking care of some landscaping properties and, just getting in touch with myself. Just trying to find my... relaxed and centered, just trying to get relaxed and centered. So, I don't know what's happening in your area, but it's hotter than, it seems hotter than usual. People keep saying that. They say it every year, though. But at some point, I guess we'll probably start looking into that. Maybe it actually is happening, Maybe Al Gore was onto something. I got something on my wrist. I think I got a sunburn on my wrist somehow. So either that or my watch is, I'm rotting, or I have some sort of skin-eating amoeba or something. But I just noticed that today. I started getting blisters on it, and so I did what anybody would do. I just popped them bad boys, and it seems fine now. But it's interesting. Taking the back way home. I had stopped at my grandpa's house. I have not seen my grandpa in way too long, and that's my fault. A lot of people will say, well, it's both of our fault, and it's not. When you get to be an older gentleman or an older woman, I think that it's never your fault. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of times that you can still do messed up stuff as an old man, but that's not what it's not what he was doing. He's like, how about this? I'll stay at my house, and if anybody wants to come see me, that's where I'll be, So it's not his fault. I don't expect him to drive to Oklahoma and see us, or come meet up with me when I'm back in Wichita, even though he would if I asked. So that's even more. So it was good. We're pretty close. We've been pretty close I think a lot of people are close with their grandparents, but I think of him more as my buddy than my grandpa. So it was good to see him. And, yesterday when I got done mowing, I went on a real long run, which was nice. Then I got back to my dad's place, and the night before when I got there, because I got there after the show on Friday night, those guys from Wichita show, which you can also watch here on YouTube, or you can actually listen to that live. We do it live, which I don't know if it helps or hurts it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I think the quality's not as good, but either way, I don't think the quality's as good when you're doing it when you're driving a Focus either. But sometimes you just got to do it. So, anyways, after I got done with that show and got back over to my dad's, my younger brother was up, and I said, well, what do you want to watch, dude? And he's like 15, which is weird because I think of him as just my age, which is also weird. I think of my grandpa as my age too, so I don't know why. In my brain, it always seems like that, All my younger siblings seem like they're my age. All my, Shannon, everybody I just think of as I don't even think of the number. So I don't sit around and be like, we're going to have nothing to talk about because he's 15. What are you talking about? We'll just talk about most of the stuff I have to say is pretty sophomoric anyways, and that's exactly what he is, you know. And then most of the things I actually really enjoy, you know, are stuff that my grandpa got to do, like have freedom, you know. So he'll talk to me about what it was like when he was free in this country, you know. Not to say that we're not free. I get it. It could be a lot worse, but it is definitely different. He was telling me a story today that when he went to school in he was born in Oklahoma, then went to school in Goddard, Kansas, to high school. And there was 13 kids in his class, including him, I think. So that was in 1955 or 56. And now that school, there's like 4 middle schools for that town. You know what I mean? There's 2 or 3 high schools in that town. And that's only, what's so crazy is, you know, that's a long time, 70 years. It's not that long, but also in the past 20 years, you know, when I was in high school, that place was a S-hole. You know, that place was, it was fine. It was a decent sized school, but it wasn't like what it is now. And all the yuppies and all the people have, you know, went out there and built their houses, and you know, they would look at their neighbor's house. It's one of those kinds of places where everybody's lives in a neighborhood and all their homes are the same. So there's nothing wrong with it, and it's actually, you know, what is that movie called, like Pleasantville or something, you know, Stepford Wives or whatever. I think there's a lot of people will turn their nose up at that lifestyle if they're, you know, I don't want my neighbors that close, or I don't want, and I get that, dude. I fall squarely into that camp, but I do also understand the appeal to it because, you know, everybody kind of looks out for each other, and so there is a community there. But he was telling me, that has nothing to do with what I was saying, sorry. He went to Goddard, and he was saying that when him and his buddy would bring their gun to school every day and hunt on the way to and from school. They would walk to and from school and walk through fields. There was nothing else, you know. All of a sudden a school would be there, and so they would hunt on their way home from school. And, you know, I don't know if, I'm sure people got shot and stuff, and there was accidents and stuff, but it seems like everybody was pretty much fine, you know. You didn't, even though you had your piece on you at school, and you probably were even showing people, you didn't have to worry about some horrible accident happening, you know, like, oh man, that teacher just called me a whatever, and I went and got my gun and shot up everybody. Like, that's not what people did, even though they all had them. So, you know, maybe there is something to it. I don't know. Maybe it's something we're drinking or eating that's making that happen. I don't know. But it's interesting. I don't know how we got on the topic. We also were talking about when he was, I don't know how old he must have been. He was down in his farm in Okarche, and his parents had given him and his brother or a, you know, cousin or whoever a couple rifles, and they were just, their job was just to go sit on the hill and shoot jackrabbits. And there was some dude in town that owned a bar and a grocery store, and he would pay for the jackrabbits because they would turn them into dog food, he said. So, you know, people would come from like miles around and just shoot these freaking jackrabbits and load up the back of their, you know, camper specials or whatever truck they were driving, like a Model T truck that goes like 14 miles an hour, and it'd just be filled with dead rabbits, and they would take it to town, and that guy would turn it into dog food, which is crazy to me. And he said that in Utah back then, I guess because Utah didn't have guns or didn't have people that knew how to use them, in Utah, they would build fences around these areas and then just club these jackrabbits to death. They would build some sort of billy club and just club these jackrabbits to death. And I guess these jackrabbits were just a big ass nuisance. So, like, you can sit there and watch Netflix all day, go to a damn seminar, get on TikTok, get on YouTube, whatever you're doing, and think that you could read a freaking book. But you know what you won't hear usually is that, oh, let me tell you the story about the time where I filled up the bed of a pickup truck with dead jackrabbits. That's the only thing, the only time you're going to get that story is if you go to your grandpa's house. So if you still have a grandpa or even an elderly parent, that is not insane, you should consider spending some time with them. So I'm glad I went over there, and I'm glad he told me those stories. I know he's told me a lot of that before, but it doesn't really matter. There's also a certain, I don't know what age you hit where you can tell the same story over and over, and for whatever reason, it's still entertaining. It's still a good story. So I guess it's kind of like rewatching your favorite episode of something. And so, like, I turned my TV to Channel Grandpa, and it was a rerun, but I love this episode. One of those kinds of things. So that was good. It was good to see him, and, he's getting old, dude. He's old, and he was telling me that he fell down yesterday, and we were laughing about it, because his feet don't work very good anymore, and so he had sat in his chair watching female golf, and we were talking about that a little bit. He's like, yeah, I just sat there too long. I got up and just fell over, so, which sucks, but all you can do at that point, all you can do really to bring some levity to it is to laugh about it. So we laughed together at it. I didn't just get up and be like, your freaking old legs don't work, So I got Swamp Man behind me and a water cooler head. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm in the middle of South Haven, Kansas, and I screwed up. This road is under construction. They've set up one of those stoplights in case traffic is coming from the other direction, and it's just on a timer. And so if you miss the green light, you have to sit here for frickin' 20 minutes as it cycles through, and then, I feel like you could just run it, but somebody could be coming. But, oh well, I'm not in a huge hurry. I'd like to get home, though. So, anyways, I was saying after the show, I asked Tug what he wanted to watch, and what we ended up on was a little movie that a lot of people said was not very good when it came out. But for me, it is one of the funniest beginnings to a movie ever. And the movie I'm referring to is a movie called Hangover 3. And it opens where Zach Galifianakis, bearded, wearing sunglasses in a convertible, is driving down the highway with a trailer on his convertible car with a damn giraffe in it. And he's listening to Hanson's hit single Bop. And he's just having the time of his life, dude. He's just laughing and, screaming and telling everybody that's driving by, it's a giraffe. I bought a giraffe. This is the greatest day of my life, all this. And spoiler alert, goes under an overpass. It's low, and it decapitates that giraffe, and that giraffe head goes into this family's, front windshield of their minivan. And I don't really care about the that part of it. That part's not the part that makes me giggle. But just the thought, I talk about it a lot of times, that at some point when this show, and however this happens, however all this existence for myself pans out, and I get to a point where I feel like this is where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Not like this is where you have to be. I think a lot of my life I felt like this is what you have to do. This is where this is part of the journey, but it's not where you're supposed to be. There's still a mountain I got to climb, or there's something, I have to get to be like, this is where you wanted to be the whole time. And I don't know what that is, but I know it's sitting here telling you guys stories. but somebody, whether it be Coca-Cola or Chocolate Soldier or Schlotsky's or somebody, will be paying me to do it. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully on my terms, but whatever. I'll be getting paid, and I'll be getting paid like an unreasonable amount of money is what, that's the aspiration, an unfathomable amount of money to do this. And I've always told you guys that when that happens, what I want to do is buy a yacht, and I want to put it on the pond at Random Dude Ranch, and I want to do the show from the yacht, and I want to hit golf balls off of it, and I want people that have listened for a long time to be able to come to the yacht and hang out on the yacht. And it's so ridiculous and it's so stupid that's why I would want to do it. And I feel like the beginning of Hangover 3 is the epitome of that. It is me with money. You know what I mean? People look at Alan like he and somebody ran their little red light. People looked at that character, Zach Galifianakis, like he was a monster or whatever. And when I get it, when a giraffe gets decapitated, that's a problem. But for those of you who have listened for a long time, if you were to hear a story that a podcaster from Oklahoma was driving down the highway listening to Bop with a giraffe, you would know it's me. You know what I mean? I've been talking, that's all of the things I've talked about over the past 10 years is Hanson. And, I talked about giraffes just a few weeks ago and how I think that's a lot of meat that we're missing out on. You get a damn giraffe's, a loin of a giraffe or whatever this neck part's called, little neck loin. That's a tremendous amount of I don't know, not beef, but whatever word you use for giraffe meat, queef or geef or something. So that's me. That's the epitome of everything that I find hilarious. I don't really want to kill the thing. And I don't really want to own a giraffe, but I do want to drive down a highway with a giraffe in a trailer, and I do want to listen to Hanson while it happens. And so when that is hilarious. That movie is pretty funny, and who cares? I get that there's some parts of it where it's like, I don't know, it's a pretty good movie. The second one I don't think I liked that much, but even then, if it's got laughs in it, I don't see why movies like that get panned so much. Like, what do you want out of this thing? You got 3 people or 4 people acting like idiots, and this one was all about taking Zach Galifianakis to Arizona to drop him off at a rehab facility for his disease, dude, for the fact that he is out of touch with reality, basically, and he's kind of a shit to everyone unless it's his buddies in the wolf pack. But then, all kinds of other hijinks happens. So I hate this turn. It's like you turn onto a wrong way, one way kind of deal. Goodbye, zombie hunter. So, but I thought the movie, that has plenty of laughs throughout it, dude. So if you have not seen, they probably don't need my help. Most of those guys are pretty good as far as money goes. So, but I'd consider, dude, it's on HBO Max, which is a streaming service for home box office. So check it out, dude. And one of the things that got me thinking about, though, and I'm sure a lot of people thought this when they seen the movie, but I'll try to put it into words for you. You know what's crazy is when like when we're starting taco truck, or when we were, even when I was helping my dad and every day and kind of running that with him. But we'd always talk about other businesses, and there was always some opportunities sometimes where you could maybe get into some other business or whatever. But one of the common themes, even in business school, that you would get to is one word that gets repeated 3 times, and it's been overused, but you'll know what I'm saying, dude. People just talk about the location, and then they will repeat that word 2 more times. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, I want to start a business, and somebody will say that word 3 times, location, and then they'll say it again. And I don't know if that necessarily, that is a person's who wants to, I guess that's the idea, if you want to make it as easy as possible, right? But I don't know. You know what's so weird is the word should be freedom. You know, the word should be, that's what it should be, is freedom. It's how free are you? Because it is the rules and the regulations sometimes that can limit a business's success. You know what I mean? Because at this point, I think you can run, depending on what it is, I think you can run it about anywhere. But what I mean is, in that movie, in Hangover 3, and even in the first one, they end up in Las Vegas, Nevada. And Las Vegas, Nevada is in the middle of nowhere. And the only reason that people flock to it over and over again, because they're going to a place that everybody already knows up front, it's going to cost us money, and we're going to go there and then spend more money for our fun. And lose money. You know that if you're going to go there to gamble, you're probably going to lose more than you win. Sure, there's exceptions. You know, you'll run into people like, oh, no, Claudia went to Vegas last Thursday and won $18,000. It's like, right. And then she went back and lost, $18,000 or $20,000 or whatever. But what's so nuts about the place, and there's casinos everywhere. So why do people still want to go to Vegas? It's not just to gamble. The whole reason that it's appealing to people, the people will fly or drive to the middle of a desert, is because when they get there, dude, they get to be free. They get to smoke. They get to drink. They get to have sexual relationships with women that they pay to do it. And it's not illegal. People will advertise it. And so it's one of the most popular vacation spots in the world, and the only reason people want to go there is because they just don't want to be told what to do. And so it doesn't have to be Las Vegas. That amount of casinos and entertainment or whatever, that could all be in, that could be in Kansas. That could be in, because what the hell is Nevada? Nobody else, it's like, oh, I can't wait to go visit Nevada, but not go to Las Vegas. Nobody wants to go to freaking Nevada. I've never heard anybody be like, you know what's beautiful? Nevada. That's never happened. In Las Vegas, as great as it looks on film, with the lights and the fountains and all that garbage, when you're there, you can barely see any of that shit. I mean, you can see it, but it's so overwhelming, and there's so much that you don't look at it as like a majestic beauty kind of thing, and unless you have some sort of concierge or somebody that puts you in the right places to take you to the shows or take you to the rooftop pools or the strip club. You don't know who to trust. You don't know what to do because you don't know what the hell's going on. There's so much. And so what you end up doing is being inside of these casinos. And the Bellagio looks beautiful from the outside, but when you're inside it, it's just a casino. When you get to the hotel room, if you can't afford the villa suite like they get in this movie, you're just in a hotel room. But for whatever reason, it's like, well, why do people want to go there? They want to go there because they want to be able, even if they don't smoke, they like the idea that people can smoke. Even if they don't want to have sex with an escort, They like the idea that exists. Like, even the part of what happens there stays there. You know what I mean? It's like, yep, we're going to allow this dirty little secret that we all know this debaucherous behavior goes on, and we're going to allow it to exist. And it's so weird that this one place can exist and nobody wants more of it. You know what I mean? Nobody's like, hey, there's no state income tax here. There's no rules here about smoking or even COVID. I mean, that place opened I think COVID happened in March of 2020. By April of 2020, COVID was over in Las Vegas. They're like, fuck, we can't do this shit. Just come on in. Who cares? They try to do their stupid stuff like, oh, we'll have one space in between slot machines, or we're going to have people wipe them down more. Nobody cares. You're sitting there breathing in all that filtered frickin' air, dude. You get that Vegas throat. It's awful, And there's more old people in Vegas than anywhere. Why? Because they love to gamble. No, dude. Because it reminds them of when they used to be able to bring their gun to school and shoot rabbits on the way. Vegas is what America was when it started, dude. And is it better now? I mean, yeah, I don't want to live in Las Vegas. I don't want to live in... Actually, I want to live in a place that's like Maybe that's a good question. If you took away all the rules in a certain town, would it then just automatically turn into Las Vegas? Meaning, if you live in a town like I do of 4,000 people, and there's a Dollar General and a gas station and maybe a little grocery store if you're lucky, if you took away all rules, all regulations, and said anything goes pretty much, guys, come on in. Gambling's legal, prostitution's legal, marijuana's legal, smoke anywhere you want. It's all legal, baby. If you did that, will your community stay the same? Will your community just be the weight is, because that's what I would want. I would just want to not feel like, everything I'm doing is should I ask somebody? Can I do this here? Can I sell this grape on the side of the road? I want to open up a grape stand. Oh, do you have a vendor's license? No. Why would I? No, I don't have that. Why? Fuck off. You want to say that, but oh no, I'll go down and get my vendor's license to sell my grape in the town. No. And then I wonder, so if you took all that shit away, there's no rules, no regulations, is that what automatically happens? Every town just turns into debauchery. Is that why we have to have them? And I bet a lot of people would argue that's exactly what it is. That's what would happen. That's what it was. Everything was like Las Vegas before Las Vegas, and then we started putting rules everywhere to keep that kind of behavior out, because if we just said, yeah, it's allowed, maybe that is the case where it's well, we let everybody do it, and then everybody did it. Or even if only a percentage of the town does it, it's so annoying to the rest of them. It's why aren't fireworks legal every day year round? Because, and you think I wouldn't be popping them off, so who cares? The problem is there's 3 dudes that would always pop them off. What's so crappy is we have to change our whole world, because of bad apples. You'd want to say hey, it is legal for people to smoke indoors, but don't, come on, have a little decency. Don't come into this nursing chamber of this church and smoke, don't do that. And people well, there's no rules about it, so fuck. It's now we have to make a rule. And that's what happens, dude. It's so aggravating. Because what we should do is make everything legal, but then when somebody is obviously, if there's the firework guy that's lighting them off every night after 10 p.m. or even after 9 p.m., dude, especially when the sun goes down at 5 in the winter here, or 6 or whatever, on those short days, dog, you got to cut out your fireworks at 7 or 8. But no rule about it, just use your common sense. People are going to bed. People got to get up and go to work tomorrow, dude, or people got to get up and talk about work tomorrow, go to work and talk about how they hate work tomorrow, dude, and you're keeping them up. But you can't. I mean, because then it's weird, man. You're going to let everybody else have fireworks whenever they want it? It's like, yeah, but everybody else understands that people have to sleep, dude. You don't, so you don't get them. And then once you say that to one person, now you've already said it, and that's what happens, man. That's weird. I wish I could just have like a vaporizer for people that was legal. Like a community vaporizer. Or like, hey guys, this is all free, and so like if you're having a baptism or a quinceañera or a whatever celebration, and you want to shoot off some fireworks for it, by all means, go nuts, But if you're going to be the guy that's building them in his back garage and then lighting them off every night, sorry, dude. Even though it's legal, we don't like it, It's not illegal. It's frowned upon. That's tough, dude. That's tough. That's a tough decision. It's almost like the country has allowed itself one spot for people to be free, and we all just accept it. We're like, we can't handle it on a daily basis, but we still need it. It's like our purge city, So go down to Vegas, dude, if you need to get it out of your system. And gas is, what is gas wherever? Like it's $5, $6, $7 a gallon. Ridiculous. Can't drive to Vegas. You can still get a plane ticket to Vegas for like $38, dude, because they figured it out. Make it almost free to get there, because we're going to take your money. Make it free, baby. And get them here. Tell them they can be free when they get here. And then we're going to take your money. And I don't know what the crime is in Vegas, dude. I mean, there used to be organized crime, but there's definitely some scumbags. I've seen some of them little street critters running around there when I was there for all those years we went for the show. But other than the time I got mugged and ripped off, I've had a pretty good time in Vegas. I never really felt unsafe. So, I don't know. Because when you see that, you like, man, I wish, part of me is like, man, I wish that's cool. I wish we could use that model for everything. But the problem is you can't. Because I would hate to live in Vegas every day, I think. I think I would hate it. But people do it. Somehow people do it. Be interesting. Maybe I'll try to get some people from Vegas that are actually not vacationers there, not tourists, not pie gal players, but actual residents of the community, and be like, why? What do you love about living there? And especially if I could find somebody that doesn't gamble, because I'm sure that exists. Like, no, I never go to the Strip. I just work down here at Aldi's and I come home. You work at Aldi's in Las Vegas and you just come home. Like, yep, got 2 kids in school, and we have a little church group on Wednesdays, and that's it. That's my life. Why did you choose to do it there then? I'm like, well, I was just, I moved here my dad moved here. He was military or ex-military. We moved down here when I was 7, and I just never left. Have you ever been to the Bellagio? Nope. There's a lot of that shit, I bet. It's just weird. So, I don't know. I was just thinking about it. And then, to follow it up, so we watched Hangover 3, and like I said, dude, for my money, that's the best opening of a movie ever. Minus the decapitation. You can leave it in or leave it out. That part does not I don't need that kind of shock laugh. It's funnier to me just watching the pure joy of a man listening to Hanson, because I've felt that, I've felt that. And I've done it. I've cranked up the hand. If Bop comes on, you bet your ass I'm rolling down the windows of this Focus and we're going to jam out, especially if people can hear it. It's a great song, and you should share that with your friends. And those guys are from Oklahoma. And maybe I can get them on my show, because they're not doing anything right now. Speaking of not doing... so anyways, to follow it up, we watched Hangover 1 last night, which is... I don't know. It's good, I get it, but it's not as good as the third one. I think the third one's actually the best one. So, but we watched it as a family, which is nice, and that's when it was another weird thing. It's like, I don't think of it. My dad's like, should Tug watch this? It's like, yeah, he's 30 years old, Dad. And he's not. He's 15 or 14, I forget that. I don't know how old I was when I watched. Probably 24, 25, so it was fine. But anyways, I listened to a new show the other day. There's a new podcast. It's been out for a while, but I don't know how it was suggested, like on their Apple Podcasts or whatever. Sometimes it will suggest things. If you like this, you might also like this. And a lot of times I ignore that, which is stupid, because I should listen to, if I'm going to be listening to podcasts or whatever, then it would be kind of a disservice not to open my ears to new voices. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm pleading for people to include me as one of the voices they're listening to. So, and I think a lot of times it's my envy or my here's a word I've never used on a podcast. Maybe it's my hubris that I don't want to listen to this because I know how successful it is, and I don't want it to make me mad because I think I can do better. And that's probably naivete, hubris, I don't know, a mixture of the two, ego. And so I clicked on it, and I clicked play, and it was Dana Carvey, who I like, David Spade's show. They have a podcast. Those two guys have a podcast together. It's called Fly on the Wall, and their guest was Jimmy Fallon. And so of the three, I like Dana Carvey. I've never really been a big Spade fan. It's not that I dislike him as a person, but I do not like him. What do you want, dickhead? It's called a construction zone. Freaking. Here you go. Don't get in front of me. You have to go. Prick. Yeah, good luck, dummy. $8,000 worth of tools in his brand new Silverado High Country. Left lane, closed ahead, bucko. You too, dumbass. Oh, it's alright. You can slam your Nissan in front of me, you dumb shit. Sorry. I'm on the corridor right now, so. No, the problem I have with, David Spade is that I've never thought that he's always just kind of reminded me like a sleazeball, and somehow has like wormed his way into funnier people's worlds, and then ridden coattails, whether it be Farley's or Sandler's or whomever. Now Carvey, you know what I mean? I don't know if David Spade would have the, I don't know, but maybe I'm totally wrong, and that's just the vibe he gives off that I pick up on. But there's something I'm missing there. So, and then Jimmy Fallon, I've always thought was like a kind of a weasel, even though he's, by all accounts, and even listening to this interview with him, he seems like a pretty decent guy. Like, he's just really nice. And sometimes it does bother me, though, when somebody's like overly nice all the time. I hate that. My wife has a couple friends like that, and I have a couple family members like that, and it's like I don't trust them. I want you to be nice. I want you to be pleasant or polite, or a decent person to be around. But I also want there to be like an edge there. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's the edge of a knife or the edge of a cliff. And maybe a mixture, or I shouldn't keep saying that, but maybe a little bit of both. Like, my uncle is a really good conversationalist. My grandpa is, but there's also, if you get on a certain subject, you'll see a little glint in their eye, or they'll walk away, or they'll tell you what they think about that. It might not be one you want to hear. I'm talking about the people that no matter what you say, they're just like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. Oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Oh, it's like, no, it's not. I said, can you open these pickles? Oh, the way you said it, though. It's like, no. Hey, I'm thinking about going to church. That's tremendous. That's a tremendous idea. Hey, I'm thinking, we just bought a new car, and I love your car. It's so beautiful. How do you love it? Like, those kinds of people. And I think that they're high on drug. And like, in the case of my wife's friends, I think they take like enough of a cocktail of antidepressants or some sort of drug that they're high on that makes them be that way. The hell was that? It could be anything. So, but Jimmy Fallon always reminded me of that. He has that. I don't feel like it's a genuine reaction to mundane conversation or mundane joke or average. Everything's just over the top, and it makes it seem fake. And maybe I'm alone on that, but and maybe I'd be completely wrong. I'd love to meet the fella, and whatever, we could play a song together or something. I like to sing and be a song and dance man, so maybe I'm wrong. So, anyways, this episode was Jimmy Fallon, and I listened to the whole thing, and I guess the most frustrating part about it is I know that Dana Carvey, they've never done it before, and they've done, at this point 30 or 40 episodes, but it's so, what I took from it is, after listening to that episode, and then they did a live episode with Sandler, who I'm sure does not do a lot of podcasts, but he's best buds with those guys, and worked on SNL with them. They have a tremendous history together. They're just actual real life friends. And also, I listened to an episode with Bob Odenkirk, who I've always thought was a real funny cat. I like his Mr. Show stuff and his sketch stuff. So, when you have a Rolodex of actual friends, or at least showbiz relationships, and you already have a tremendous reputation in the entertainment industry, and maybe more specifically the comedy industry, but they're movie stars too. At least Spade, you could argue, is one, and Carvey's kind of been out of the game, and he's in his 60s at this point, But they're world beaters, dude. They've done it all. They've been everything, and they've been the best at it. You're talking about freaking Wayne's World, okay? And I'm not trying to take anything away from these gentlemen, but they also, this freaking car just passed me doing 800 miles an hour, and this cop didn't do shit. And then now, hopefully he's just calling backups or a helicopter. So I got passed by a guy doing maybe 3,000 miles an hour. I'm speeding, but not like that. So, anyways, hold on a second. I gotta drink some of this green tea. It's actually pretty good, but I have this other tea. It's got lemon in it. I don't really like it, but I'll drink it first and then finish it. Yeah, I'm thirsty today. Oh, sorry. So, I guess the thing that is frustrating when listening to that show is, so what I ended up doing was I listened to that first episode. It was just the latest one with Jimmy Fallon. And they're not great interviewers, even though they've been interviewed a million times. They're not bad. It doesn't matter. But there's shows all over the place. I won't even say it's really that funny because, you know, if you have Dana Carvey, you would think that you'd be getting a lot of what he's tremendous at, which is doing his impressions, you know. And there was moments on that when he did a good Dennis Miller. I mean, he'll break out a little pieces of them. And Fallon's also like that. He does impressions, but it's like they're trying to stay away from just Dance Monkey Dance for what they're known for and actually run it like a show where they're interviewing these people. But at the same time, you can tell that they don't really care about that because they know these people so much. And so it's like a mixture of all the stuff and old stories but they don't let each other finish. And it's really kind of, what I would describe it as is, it's what it's like when you first start a podcast. It's what it's like when you first start this kind of thing. And especially when you get a room of guys. But what bothers me about it is, and it's not any funnier than, the only thing that is bringing the audience is the fact that they are who they are. You know, I don't know how to explain it. I guess I would explain it like, there's times when I've listened to shows, you know, and I'm like, I get it, dude. I get why this is so popular. It's a really well-produced show, and it sounds good, and the hosts are great, and, you know, if it is an interview show, the guests, they have a great interview style, and you learn a lot about the guests or whatever it is, you know, or the host is really funny, or it's a comedy show and they have it set up and it's great. And even if it is people that are celebrity, you know what I mean? But God damn, crack my window. This is not that. You know, this is funny people interviewing other funny people. They're all famous, but they're not doing anything that you wouldn't hear. The conversation could be just as vulgar or just as unprepared as what you would hear if you turned on another person that is a nobody that just started a podcast. You know, and that's what's so strange about it, because those assholes would sit there and be like, oh, you should listen. You know, if you were to send your show, like, this sucks. You know what I mean? This sucks. That's what they would say. And it's like, have you guys heard what you've done? Because it's awful. You know, you had Adam Sandler on your show, and that's what you got out of it. I listened to it, and then at the end of it, I was like, ugh, what a bad show. You know? And then it's like, why are you don't need money. So they're just doing it for the same reason that a lot of us do it. But what they don't understand is they're just doing it so they can hang out with their own friends. It's a good excuse to hang out with their friends, and they're getting money for it, clearly, but money doesn't mean anything to these people at this point. So they're almost identical to where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of, doesn't matter about money. I don't care. You know? And when you do it with your friends, you're just doing it to be around your friends. It's a good excuse to do something. It's bowling night, as Shannon would always say, you know? But what they've done, though, is all of these people start hogging the bandwidth of the Spotifys and the Patreons and it's like, it's for creators, dude, but not for people who it's not for you. Like, you know how celebrities have their own dating site for other celebrities? They should have their own podcasting site for just celebrities, you know, and it should be available for people to listen to. If you want to go listen to Dana Carvey and David Spade have a conversation with Bob Odenkirk, go to this app. You know, this is where celebrities podcasts are. And even if it's Apple Music, do it there. You know, that's fine. That's what Apple is now. Okay, it's the big dogs, the monies. Okay. But everything else, you guys aren't allowed to be on. At least let people have chances to be featured and because once you guys start your shit, even if it's your first episode, that's what I did, scrolled through. That's what pissed me off. It's like, of course, these guys have the Rolodex of it. They know everyone. So, you know, your first guest is frickin', you know, Adam Sandler, who never does podcasts. It's like, oh, my first guest was Barack Obama. And then my second guest was George Bush. I do a political podcast. Hi, my name is Jake Tapper. I don't know, Tucker Carlson. Oh, really? Is it number 1 on iTunes? No shit. You know how I know? Because your name's David Spade. Because your name's Dana Carvey. And then people will be like, well, if it's not good, people still will. No, that's not true. It's not true. If it's not good, it doesn't even matter. It's almost funnier. And that's what's just sick about it. So, I did not subscribe. Not that I don't like those two. And you know, I do enjoy sometimes listening to, you know, the stuff maybe you'd never heard. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just think that the part that I really want to buckle down on is get out of our bubble, dude. You know, get out of our bubble. And if you want to be a podcaster, because it is tremendously fun, and you can do whatever you want, and you can say pretty much whatever you want. You know, maybe those guys don't get to because of, I think a lot of times when you get that kind of notoriety, you know, whatever, then that is when you start watching your back a little bit on that kind of stuff. But it doesn't seem that way. You know, they discuss and say the word and do the stuff whatever they want, really. So I know why you guys, once you started doing it, maybe you're like dragging your feet, clearly, because guess what? You know, some of us have been doing it for 10 years, and you guys just started this year, but, you know, you're dragging your feet a little bit to get into it. I don't know if I want to do that, and I don't know. And then you start doing it, and you realize this is true. As for people that have that chip in their brain where they want to, you know, share their funny observations about the world and this life that we live, there's no better outlet. There's no, and even if nobody's listening, because you get to explore this side of your brain that, and if you love the comedy side, or you love true crime, or you love whatever, then you're passionate about that, so that's what you're talking about anyways, you know. And so to be able to put it out somewhere and be like, well, I hope other people like it, you should have the opportunity for people to find it. But when these jackasses put their stuff in there, nobody will find, you know, the average Joe's stuff. And they would be like, well, who would want to listen to the average Joe? It's like, dog, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. So what does it matter if we listen to you guys talk about your first bicycle, if I talk about my first bicycle, which was better than yours? It was it looked like a motorcycle. It had fairings on it. It's the first bike I remember getting. Got it for Christmas. I went out and rode it, and they filmed me ride it, and I frickin' ate shit because it was icy out. But it was badass. And then guess what? I ruined it because I was that kind of kid. where I would be like, Dad, guess what? I took apart the bike you got me and spray painted it. Why would you do that? I don't know, Dad. Because I wanted to put my, I didn't like the fact that it was not me, Same thing I do with everything. So, maybe, if you're a celebrity and you have a driver, if you have this, you don't date people, like you go to exclusive parties where you do all this stuff that is keeping you in a bubble, so you don't have to be with normies. You're not with the normos like us. You're not in the middle, dude. You're not a never will be. Get out of our zone, dude. Get out of here. Go do your own shit. Do whatever you got to do. Make a podcast, put it wherever, but can we just have that there? That's what it should. It shouldn't be in the comedy section. It should be in the celebrity section. There should be a celebrity layer, and that's where all you guys can compete against each other. And then let the rest of us be judged on our own shows, not against you guys, because it doesn't matter if we're better or worse. Well, it doesn't matter. Man, it's a $50 gas can. That's poor Conrad talking, dude. I see gas cans on the side of the road. Most people just drive by. I see them and go, that's like finding $50. A metal gas can, a jerry can. Woo, that's a good can. It makes you want to stop and grab it, dude. I love grabbing shit. Like today I was blowing I was blowing the curb, and there was one of those pins that lock a trailer hitch on, and I know that those can be anywhere from $3 to $7. So in my mind, it's like I just found $7 because I've had to buy those before. Same thing with gas cans. Same thing with hats and clothes. If I see a shirt on the ground, most people would say, "Ew." I would say, "Shirt." That is a free shirt. That could be anywhere from $1 to $20. That's free money, dude. People are like, "Where are you gonna wear it?" Dog, I am. This shirt has a buffalo on it and an American flag. And guess what? It's free. Dumb baby. So I enjoy those shows. I'll listen. I don't hate Joe Rogan. Sometimes we give him shit, but I've listened to of course. How could I not? Especially if you enjoy this type of entertainment, and then you also are passionate about doing it, how can you not? So I've listened to Rogan many times. I've listened to all the big guys, the Two Bears, the One Cave, anybody, Tiger Belly. I've tried to listen to as much as I can. Can't say I've listened to all of them, but I've listened to a tremendous amount, and I've listened all the time. And there's shows that are better than others, and that goes with anything. But the one through line is none of these should be in the same space as what I'm doing. You know what I mean? None of these should be there. And once I get to their level and I'm on yacht level and I'm getting, I'm driving with a freaking giraffe behind this Ford Focus, and this Ford Focus is actually a damn, what would I buy? I actually enjoy a Ford Focus, so it's a Ford Focus, but it's a new one. Yeah, I'll be in your guys' level, dude. Now we can be on the same app, or in the same section. There should be I don't know how they would base it. I don't know. But I know one thing, those little nerds that designed all these apps and built the computer and made this freaking microphone and the phone that I'm recording this on, you guys can figure out a way to tier the system where now there's opportunities for everyone. Not just to put our stuff that gets buried beneath, the latest Bert Kreischer offering. Fuck that. And it makes you want to be like, and I think there's been a lot of people that have started. I remember Playapod when it started. The problem is what you could do was add a show, and so when these things first started, it's like, hey, you guys want to be on my app? Yeah, sure. And you'd be featured. You're there. You get a lot more downloads. You're featured on it, and it's getting a little run on some bigger programs and stuff, but not on the big dogs. But what happens is some listener that likes this show or likes a different show that also listens to Rogan, they bring Rogans over there. They bring these guys. And guess what's one's going to get the most? Those. Why? Because Joe Rogan had on, whoever. That's a famous comedian or UFC guy or scientist. Got friggin' Elon, the Tesla guy on there. Okay? So how can I... even if I think that my episode about gravy sticks was better than anything Elon Musk has to say, that would be tough. I get it. You're still going to be like, no, I'll see what Elon Musk had to say when he was high. Great. Did you hear my gravy stick idea? No, I missed that one. Really. I don't know. It's almost like I wish if you make money doing shows, you have to charge for shows. I wish that these assholes the only way they could release them is if people that wanted to hear them have to pay $100 a month to hear them. Then guess what? Nobody would listen. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't do them. Or maybe that's it, man. Maybe if... The only way you guys get to do this and be on the same app is if you guys are willing to do it for free. Oh, we won't do that. Good, then leave, It's just, I don't care. It's fine. It just seems like if you guys get to date if you guys get to have cameos, like have, you get these advantages where you're dating. You have your own app for dating, for celebrities, dude. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a celebrity. I haven't got invited to that. But I know you have it. And you guys all suck at dating anyways. And it's disgusting. You know what I mean? You don't even know what... It's really disgusting. It's really heartbreaking. I watched this one girl. Her name is Megan Fox. And she is dating a guy named Machine Gun Kelly. Megan Fox... looks like I don't know what Mary looked like, Jesus' mom, but I gotta imagine it was a lot like Megan Fox. Beautiful. A chosen one. Just a gorgeous woman. And yet she's with a man named Machine Gun Kelly, Tragic. It's a tragedy. Yeah, we met when we were high. It's like, go away. She's so hot. She's one of those people that are so hot that their job is being hot. You know what I mean? What's your job? Hot. Oh, cool. Well, you're one of the best at it, I don't know. But they get their own shitty little world that they get to all play in, and we're not allowed in it. Okay, but then you got to stay out of our world. Yet, no, we want to be in your world too because it's fun to do. And we make a lot of money. Like, fucking get out of my world. It ain't for you, dude. You don't get it. But it's okay. This episode is brought to you by Fly on the Wall, which is a podcast by David Spade and Dana Carvey. If you guys, new episodes whenever they put them out, and subscribe to Fly on the Wall. Thank you for sponsoring this episode of Con Radio's podcast in the car. Drink all this tea, dude. I'm gonna be banging all night. Be up. I drank some of the good one. I gotta get back to this crappy one. This is... I don't really like tea that much, but water was... For two 20-ounce bottles of the cheapest water, which is just tap water, was $2.75 for the Casey's, which is the gas station's brand water, where they're just filling it up and bottling it within the store. And I thought, that's high. And these two liters of tea for $1.75, and I thought I can do that. And I don't even like tea, so